Hello everybody, welcome back. So a while ago I made a video about metering modes, how they work and how you can use them in your daily photography. And that video kind of blew up, which I appreciate. A lot of you probably found my channel through that video, so hello, hi. While it was helpful for a lot of people, quite a few still found it very confusing, especially when it came to understanding the relationship between exposure and metering. Specifically, the creative side of it. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about that. My mom has been spending the last 8 weeks with me and my fiance, and with me driving her home next weekend, we live 600 kilometers away apart from each other. We thought it would be nice doing something special last weekend. We were so lucky with the weather, so we headed out to Visingsö outside of Gränna. And it's been a really nice day so far. Oh, and I will warn you, this video may end up a little bit longer than my usual ones, so grab a beverage and let's get on with it. So what people seem to misunderstand in my metering video is that exposure is a creative expression, not some final correct number. There is no right or wrong here. And metering, well, that's only a suggestion from your camera to your light meter, which is in your camera. Yeah. Anyway, to fully understand how they work together, you first need to understand how they work standalone. And let's start with exposure. Exposure is simply how bright or dark your final image is. It's controlled by 3 settings: shutter speed, aperture and ISO. The exposure triangle. This video is not about the triangle, so I will leave it at that. But if you don't understand the basics of the exposure triangle, I highly recommend you reading a little bit about that before watching this video, or continue watching this video. But be sure to actually come back though. Creatively, exposure is mood control. If you have a bright exposure, you get this airy, hopeful and open feeling to your photo. I often do this with my coastal shots on sunny days. While a dark exposure gives you a moody, cinematic and dramatic feeling. I usually think of this when I have moody weather or moody skies with textured clouds or whatever. And then we have a natural exposure, like what our eyes would normally expect. I use this a lot when I'm photographing farmland around where I live. The important thing is, these are not rules, they are choices. You're deciding how the viewer feels when they look at your photo. And once you start thinking of exposure as a storytelling tool instead of a technical target, you will notice your photos feeling more intentional. These are just my preferences, my style, nothing extreme, I'll admit, but still mine. Yours might be completely different, and that's the point. Now, metering is a little bit different because it's not deciding how bright or dark your photo will be. It's just your camera's opinion on what the correct exposure should be. Inside your camera is a light meter. Its job is to measure the light coming in through your lens to your sensor and suggest settings that would make anything you're looking at through the EVF to average out to 18% gray, a brightness level between pure black and pure white. That's what the little 0 and the little scale you see on the screen is showing you. 0 means the camera thinks the exposure is correct. Plus means brighter, minus means darker. I mentioned this in my metering video, but if you're photographing anything very bright, like a beach or a snowy landscape, the meter sees all that white and tries to darken it to 18% gray. And the result would be a very dull looking image. And the same goes for, let's say, a black coat or a black cat As a very cool comment said in my metering video, the meter sees all that black and tries to brighten it to 18% gray. So your coat or cat ends up looking faded instead of deep and rich. This is why we have metering modes. They all work to that same mid-gray principle, but they decide where in the frame they take their reading from. And that choice directly affects how you set your exposure. But remember, metering is not your final exposure. It's just a camera giving you a polite suggestion. You can follow it, ignore it, or deliberately go against it to get the mood you're after. So how does these two actually work together? Think of it like this. Metering is your camera's opinion. Exposure is your decision. Your light meter reads the scene, and your metering mode tells your camera which part of the scene is most important. That's the whole reason why metering modes exist. Matrix or evaluative measures lights across the whole scene, doesn't take any prioritize to anything specific. It reads the whole scene and make an average reading out of what it can see. It's perfect for when the light is pretty even across the whole frame. Personally, I see this as my go-to, and it's really good for the average. This still considers the surroundings, but prioritizes the middle of the frame the most. I like to use this when my subject is in dead center, like a portrait or someone standing in a doorway, but still want the background to look somewhat natural, not completely ignored. This mode ignores everything except a little point, 1 to 2%, in the middle of the whole frame. Perfect for tricky light. Maybe you're in the shade shooting towards a sunlit street, or photographing a bird against a bright sky. You're telling the camera, this spot matters, and I don't care what happens to the rest. Once it knows what to prioritize, your camera's light meter is basically saying, here's the brightness I think will make this look right. That's where your creative choice comes in, deciding how bright or dark you want the final image to be. So this is how I would apply it to real-world situations. If I'm shooting in balanced average light, nothing dramatically brighter or darker than the rest of the frame, matrix or evaluative is usually the mode I go with. It gives me a solid, well-rounded suggestion. From there, I will nudge the exposure compensation, since I mainly shoot in aperture mode, to match the mood I'm after. Maybe brighter for a more open and welcoming look, or slightly darker for a more moodier tone. But if I'm in a high contrast scene, as I said earlier, let's say I'm standing in a shaded area looking into a sunlit street. That's when I would change to spot metering. You're telling the light meter exactly what point in the frame is the most important, whether that being shadow or highlights. So if you're exposing for the highlights, you will let everything in the shadows falls to almost complete darkness. And well, the reverse to what happens when you're exposed for the shadows. If you make the shadows brighter, the highlights that's already bright will be even brighter. But that can give a somewhat of a ghosty, airy look to it, almost like the highlights are glowing. Both ways give the photo a complete different feeling and atmosphere. And then there's the center weight, the in-between option. I'll use it when my subject is central and I want them to stand out against the background, but still want the background to look somewhat natural and connected to the scene. I don't use it all too often, I'll be honest, but it's handy to have when the situation fits. The key is this: metering modes decides what the camera is paying attention to, but exposure is how you match that to the mood you want in the final image. And here's the thing, the whole metering versus creative choice isn't some modern digital quirk. Back in the film days, photographers carried either a handheld light meter or guessed the correct exposure by following rules like Sunny 16. Those meters worked exactly the same as the meter in your new modern camera does, aiming for that mid-gray. When built-in meters first showed up in cameras in late 50s, early 60s, they didn't magically just give your camera the perfect exposure. They just made it easier to get your camera's opinion without having to pull a second device up. So really, photographers have always had this creative fork in the road. Trust the meter or deliberately go against it to create a look they want in the photo. The only difference now is the meter's built in, and the temptation to trust it blindly is much greater. So to wrap things up, metering only tells your camera what's important in the frame. But the exposure you choose is a creative decision. There is no single correct exposure, only the one that tells the story that you want to tell. And that's the whole point. Your camera can give you a good starting point, but the final call is entirely up to you. Whether you brighten a scene to make it feel more light and open, or darken it to add mood and drama, that's where photography becomes personal. I would love to know, when you're out shooting, do you mostly stick with what the meter is suggesting, or are you deliberately pushing the exposure to get the mood you want? Drop a comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I appreciate it so much. But until next time, have a good day or evening, whenever you're watching this. Out!